Oh, hi, sorry, I didn't see you there. Today I want to discuss with you the unit plan that I've designed for EDUC 522 at Azusa Pacific University. The unit plan consists of 15 lesson plans that will be covered over the span of 3 weeks, and this is for a 6th grade world history class focusing on ancient China. And that's actually right here on the timeline. This lesson plan fulfills requirements in the Common Core standards as well as the California state standards and the technology standards. In specific, these are standards that this lesson plan addresses. Not only does this unit fulfill those standards and requirements, but it also appeals to students' multiple learning intelligences according to Howard Gardner. Wait, who? This guy. Howard Gardner stated that there are 8 learning intelligences that are common to everyone. These intelligences are on a spectrum, so you probably have multiple of them, but chances are you have 1 or 2 that are higher, and therefore you have a couple different ways of learning things. So these are the 8 intelligences that Howard Gardner identified. The first one is verbal and linguistic, basically people who need to talk their thoughts out. So ancient China is such a cool topic. I could just talk about it forever. I love how the Chinese invented. That's enough. The second one is interpersonal. Basically, people who need to have interaction and discussion and debate with other people. Okay, I think it's pretty interesting that the earliest record of alcohol consumption was by the ancient Chinese during the Neolithic era in 7000 BC. Bet you didn't know that. The Chinese really did invent everything. Third one is kinesthetic. People who need to move to learn. Hey, so you measured this poster? I'm gonna measure this again. Fourth is intrapersonal, basically people who need to contemplate and think about how the topic is relevant to them. Then we have naturalist learners, who have a keen survival instinct and can categorize things pretty easily. These are both red. Then we have visual and spatial learners, people who need to see things to learn. Ah, there you go. The 7th one is musical and rhythmic, people who learn best when you put a jingle to something. And last but not least, we have logical learners, mathematical learners, people who learn best when there's a sequence or a pattern. Nope, doesn't mean I'm logical or mathematical. Questions designed to encourage higher level of thinking according to Bloom's taxonomy will also be incorporated throughout the unit and throughout the lessons. The objectives of this unit plan will be that at the end of the unit, students will be able to trace the general timeline of the Warring States period of China to its unification under the Qin dynasty, led by Emperor Shi Huangdi. Students will be able to trace the origins of major philosophies that have roots during this time period, namely Confucianism, Taoism, and legalism. So, just as a brief introduction, what exactly is the Warring States period of China? It was when various Chinese states fought over periods. Okay, so what it really was a period in Chinese history when China fell into political chaos between 7 major Chinese states that fought each other for domination over China. This occurred for about 260 years until the Qin dynasty rose to power and unified China under the first emperor of China, Emperor Shi Huangdi. This is an important time period in Chinese history and in the history of the world because major worldviews can find origin in this time period, namely Confucianism, legalism, and Taoism, which are the 3 worldviews that we'll be focusing on throughout the lesson. In order to reach this goal, not only will the multiple intelligences be addressed throughout the unit, but various technology resources will also be incorporated throughout the unit and in the various lessons. Technology that will be used during this unit are iPads or computers, a projector, a QR code generator, a note-taking app, YouTube, SoundCloud, MindMeister, a smartboard, speakers or an audio output, Prezi, WordPress, comic generator, StudyBlue, animated maps, Wix, and Google Docs. Visual learners will be engaged throughout the unit with the constant use of visuals. During class lectures and presentations, visuals are always required to help supplement the content material. Specific lessons within this unit are visual-oriented, such as the creation of the digital timeline that students will post to the class Wix website. This unit also uses artwork that was created during the time to help further engage visual learners.
This unit appeals to students whose learning intelligence is musical by incorporating music and audio clips throughout the unit. An example of this is the final project that students will complete for this unit. At the end of the unit, in their groups, students will create a song using the material they have compiled in their digital timelines. The song will be a brief overview of the Warring States period of China and will be posted to SoundCloud or YouTube for other students to re-listen. This unit also appeals to logical and mathematical thinkers. This unit does this by having specific lessons logic-oriented. An example of this is a simulation on day 10, the philosophical debate. During this debate, students will be divided into 3 groups, and each group will be assigned to a worldview that arose during the Warring States period of China. During this debate, students will debate about how their worldview would handle various problems that arose during this time period and why their solution was more effective in answering the problem.
Just making sure you guys aren't zoned out.
This unit appeals to interpersonal learners because of the lessons and assignments that encourage peer interaction. During this unit, students will work in groups and pairs and will be encouraged to constantly share ideas. This exchange of ideas will happen both in the classroom and asynchronously using blogs and the class website. This unit will encourage bodily kinesthetic learners by having a variety of activities that incorporate total physical response, TPR. Throughout this unit, students will have the opportunity to be moving around and using manipulatives and simulations. An example of this is the mock battle that the class will participate in. During this mock battle, students will see how different the various Chinese armies were and how some of the smaller states were able to rise to power. This unit will engage students with an intrapersonal learning intelligence by providing opportunities for students to review and reflect content material. This unit will allow for students to work independently on assignments and projects both in class and online using social media platforms such as Facebook or the class website and blog page. This unit will appeal to students whose learning intelligence is naturalist by utilizing various activities for students to physically organize their thoughts and ideas and categorize content material. An example of this is a digital timeline students will be creating in their groups throughout the unit. During the 3 weeks, students will create a digital timeline of events that they believe are important to know in regards to the Warring States period of Chinese history. Verbal and linguistic learners will constantly be engaged throughout the lesson by having opportunities to verbally express themselves. Throughout the unit, students will be working in groups and partners and will have the opportunity to write on blogs and post them to the class website.
This unit plan has helped me discover how I can make a lesson and address students' multiple learning intelligences. Creating this lesson plan has allowed me to utilize my students' diversity and my creativity as a tool to create better lesson plans. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'd enjoyed this video. Literally what he just said.